guys, welcome back to my channel. As you see by the title of this, I got scammed really badly last year. So I'm gonna tell you that story. But make sure you like, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions down below. I will be sure to get back to them as soon as I can. That sounds like a voicemail. Sorry. Okay, so I literally just tried filming this and I was just all over the place, which I probably am again in this video, so bear with me. I will get to the point where I got scammed, but I'm gonna tell you the whole timeline as to how things happened and how it got to that. So bear with me. I have notes on my phone and I have pretty much all our messages from like when I started. But the start date is kind of fuzzy, so it's either January, towards the end of January, or beginning of February of 2018 is when I started. And I was only there until June-ish, like beginning of June. And that's when we had moved to Orlando. But let's start from the beginning. So, just a little background. She had 2 kids. One was 7 and one was 2. Okay, so yeah, she had 2 kids. And then it was just her. So she had a house about 20-ish minutes from here. So I'd watch the kids Friday night-ish. Friday night-ish, sometimes during the day. Not during the day, but like at 2, I'd go over there. Or sometimes it'd be 5, who knows. It switched. Until what was supposed to be Sunday, 10 o'clock, the latest. Which that never, ever happened. So yeah, that was supposed to be my schedule. I was supposed to make $350 for Friday to Sunday. So do an overnight Friday and an overnight Saturday into Sunday, and then she'd come home. But sometimes Sunday, like she said, like it wouldn't be until 10. But like I said, it was always past 10. And I'd get compensated for it if it went into like Monday morning. So like 12 o'clock, if it went past 12 o'clock, I'd get compensated, which was fine. I already had another job that I was doing during the week, so $350 for the weekend wasn't bad with like no infants. Like both kids slept through the night. I was able to sleep through the night, so it wasn't a big deal making $350 every weekend. So that was good up until like March. Like those were my hours. They were good. They didn't change. Like I said, up until March. So like the 25th was what I had on my phone. And that's when the 5 o'clock on Friday pushed to like 2, just so she could do her grocery shopping for the weekend. But like I said, her kid was 7 and 2. So why couldn't you do that during the day? And she wouldn't start working until like 6 o'clock at night. So why was I there from like 2 until 5 when you left to go to work 45 minutes away? And like I said, she stayed there all weekend. And in March was when I found out what she actually did. She worked in the adult entertainment business. It's kind of I don't know how to put, like a swing place thing, if you know what that is. Yeah, I had found one of her pay stubs on the counter. I wasn't snooping, it was just there, and I didn't know what she did before. Googled it, found that out. Yeah, I should have just left it alone. Should have just not even, but yeah. So I found that out late March. Like I said, by this point, we already knew we were moving, so I was like, whatever, it's easy money. And that's just what it is. So I found that out, kept it to myself. She ended up telling me like when I was gonna move, like before I was gonna move anyway. So I was like, okay, like in the back of my head, I was like, I already knew that, but whatever. So yeah, I do that every single weekend. Never had an issue until March, like I said. And that was just the timing. And if it did go over though, I was getting compensated closer to like $450 every weekend. So again, wasn't the worst thing in the world as long as she told me. There was a few times where she didn't tell me, and one time she stayed there until like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was texting her like, hey, when you coming? Because me and my fiance were sharing a car at that time, and I had to be back here before he had to leave for work, which was like around 6. He had to leave here at 6 and then be at his job at 6:30. So like I couldn't be late bringing the car back. And I told her this, and she came back like literally right at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was so mad. Or it was like 5:30. And I got back to the house right at 6 when he was supposed to be leaving. I was so mad. Like, I was so mad. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I said, she compensated me, but like still, like, I told you I can't stay past 5:30. Is she gonna come at 5:30? Or it was actually a little after 5:30. At least the roads were clear and I was able to get back here, but like that happened a few times. Once we did get our cars in May sometime, yeah, you know, I was able to take them wherever and stuff like that. So this was May 7th. I don't know when that other one was. That was another time, but this one that I'm reading right now, she had texted me and she was like, I'm gonna leave by midnight. I went, this was the one. I didn't know I had this. I'm gonna leave by midnight so she won't be home so late. Okay, so I was like, okay. And then at 1 in the morning, so that was Sunday, May 6th. I'm gonna leave at midnight. She texted me that at 8 o'clock at night. And then Monday, May 7th at 1:36 a.m., she said, they're making me stay until 2. I want to let you know. I said, okay. I was like, it's 1:36. They're just telling you to stay, like, you're just texting me now that you're gonna leave at 2 when you just texted me a few hours earlier saying you're leaving at midnight. But you're gonna text me at 1:30 telling me, oh, at 2 you're leaving, right? So 2 came around and I was like, okay, she should be leaving by now, right? So it'll take her about 45 minutes to get home at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're like 45 minutes away. At 4:44 a.m., I was like, I just wanted to see if you're on your way. No reply. Yeah. So there was that. And then at this point, she was starting another job and still doing the weekends. So I was like, okay, you know, maybe things will be better. I don't know. So then that's when I started working with her during the week a little bit while she was doing some of her trainings and stuff. I helped her out, and like I said, the pay was there. I think depending on I think it was like around like $10 to $12 an hour during that time, during the day. So that was added to the weekend. So that was pretty much all of May, from like the 6th all the way until like May 24th. And like I said, we were moving out June 9th. Oh no, it wasn't June. Sorry. July 9th. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so she started this job like end of May, and we were moving out July 9th. So I had told her, I think in May, to start looking for another nanny or someone else. I mean, her sister literally lived right down the street. So, and she was doing the overnights over the weekend before she had before I started working there. So I knew she could fill in sometimes. All right, anyway, long story short, that all went sour. She ended up quitting the adult job and didn't tell me. So I had done my last weekend, June, whatever day. Okay, wait. Beginning of June. So like the 3rd or the 1st. That was my last weekend working there. So I did the weekend, and I guess that was the last time she was working there. So I did the weekend, Friday until, I think this one I did until like Monday at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. So, but like I said, by this point, the boys weren't, well, the older boy wasn't in school, so they were home at this point. So I did that Friday like 2 until Monday at like 12 o'clock. That's when she came home. And I didn't know that until she came home at 12 o'clock. And I didn't sleep that whole night on Sunday because I didn't know what time she was coming home, and I didn't like falling asleep and like her like walking in on me sleeping, so I never slept on Sundays. Never. And those times when I didn't know she wasn't coming home at whatever time, I didn't sleep and I had to drive home. Yeah, so that happened. So like I said, beginning of June, that was the last time that I worked a weekend because she was doing the other thing. So and she was working the other job. Well, that was the last time I worked the full weekend. And I you know, was helping her during the week so she could do her training for her other job. And so that happened for about 2 weeks. Hold on. Okay, so that happened for about 2 weeks, and I was helping her, whatever, didn't get paid. She was like, oh, I'll pay you when I get my check from this job, blah, blah, blah. I guess her check ended up being crap. She wasn't working at the other place, didn't tell me, and that's when this all started. So, like I said, beginning of June, 2 weeks, no pay. Actually worked 9 days and 3 overnights with her. And that was about $750 to $800 worth of work. Because like I said, I was there Friday from 2 until Monday, 12 o'clock. That was about $550 right there. And then the 9 days of work that I did made up everything else. So like almost about $800 in total that she owed me. And I was stupid and I continued to work for those 9 days and 3 overnights with no pay. And my fiance was so mad. He was like, I told you to stop working. I was like, listen, I know. So, like I said, I did that. So around, okay. So we were actually supposed to move the 26th of June, but we ended up pushing it back until July 9th. But I never told her we were pushing it back because by this point, like I said, I hadn't got paid yet anyway. So I stopped working after those 9 days and the 3 overnights. So she still thought we were moving on the 26th. And by I said that time, I wasn't working with her anymore. I was just trying to get my money at that point. So I was like, I texted her on June 22nd. Like I said, she thought we were moving the 26th. And I was like, hey, I know you're in a tough spot, but working for you these, so it was 3 weeks. Well, 9 days, 3, whatever, you know the day count. I think it was over the course of 3 weeks. So 9 days and then 3 days. And I'll put in some screenshots so you guys can see the dates and whatever. So I was like, hey, I know you're in a tough spot, but working with you for these last 3 weeks, not getting paid really put me in a tough spot. Is there any way you could get the money sooner or just do a payment plan? If I knew you're struggling this much, I wouldn't have kept working and put you in this situation that owe me this much money. That's what I said, pretty much. And she was like, I will see if I can get you more money this weekend. So that was June 22nd of last year. So then I texted her the next day, Saturday, June 23rd, and I was like, okay, let me know. Didn't hear a response. Then Sunday, June 24th, I said, hey, I have some clothes. As I was trying to kind of slide back in there and like, hey, give me my money. So I kind of changed the subject, and I was like, my brother has some clothes that doesn't fit him, and I still had her youngest son's cup that he liked. That was the 24th. I sent her that, and she didn't reply again. Then on the 25th, on Monday the 25th, the day before I was supposed to be moving, I was like, I'm really not trying to be rude. I've given you enough time to try and figure things out, because she said she was gonna ask people for money, and like I never heard anything back from her trying to do that. And I said we could do a payment plan. So so I was like, I've given you enough time to figure things out. I gave her my Venmo account, and then I said, you haven't tried to reach out to me at all. I guess that time I just brought the cup or something. I forget. I have to ask. Whatever. I had brought something. I think it was the cup, but I forgot the clothes. Yeah, I think that's what it was. So I had ended up going there. She said that she had $29, and that was all she had for me. Like that was my payment that she had for me. And I didn't even know how much was in it until I got into my car and counted it, and it was $29. So yeah, there was that. So I said, you haven't reached out to me at all, and I know, to let me know that you were still in a rough spot. Last week you gave me $29, but didn't tell me you didn't have the money when we had talked, because she made it seem like she'd get it that weekend. Like I said, I came that weekend and she gave me $29. So then that all happened, 25th. Then she texted me after that, pretty much me saying that I just need like a payment, like an actual payment, because we said we were gonna do a payment plan. She said, I can't get anything larger until next week. I called and asked, but that's the soonest. I can send smaller amounts in the meantime. So I was like, okay, what day next week will you have the money? She said Wednesday. I said, okay. Now, that was all June 25th, that whole conversation. Like I said, I'll put in screenshots so you can read by yourself, maybe at the end or whatever, just so you have proof or whatever, because I know I'm gonna get some comments like, oh, you're lying. I'll put screenshots in, so relax. So then July 3rd, like I said, we hadn't moved yet, but July 3rd, I said, hey, are you going to be home today? I still have the clothes and your key. I forgot I had her house key, so I was going to bring all that there, because the first time when I had gotten that $29, I forgot. So she hadn't texted me back. And then the 6th, so I think I went that day or that weekend or something like that. Yeah, I think I had went, gave her all that stuff, even though she didn't reply to me. I knew she was gonna be home. I knew she wouldn't reply, so I just ended up going. Like, I know where you live. I literally have your key. Like, you're not gonna text me back to try to get that back. So I just went, brought the clothes. She was pretty much surprised that I actually showed up. She was like, oh, what are you doing here? I was like, yeah, you've been ignoring me. She's like, I'm sorry, well, I don't have any money. I've been struggling. I was like, okay, I get that, but like, you not replying to me is making you look like, yeah. So I was just like, okay, but like, we had this arrangement, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up leaving, again, empty-handed. And like I said, I was like, you made it seem like you had the money 2 weeks ago. So then Friday, July 6th, I finally had enough. Like, she wasn't replying. I was trying to call her, nothing. She ended up telling me that day too that she was moving. I was like, what? Like, what? So I was like, I need a payment, $100 a month, pretty much. We can do it like that, 100 each month, because you said you'd pay me Wednesday and you didn't. If I don't get the 100 tonight, I'm gonna have to go to a lawyer and get a lawyer involved so we can have the payments legalized. I don't want to do that, but I told you before, I at least needed a payment and never got one. And you never told me anything that was going on until I showed up, and even then wanted to explain everything. But I had texted you and called that day, pretty much, and like she never told me anything. So I was like, so I need July's payment. Never replied. That was the 6th. Then the 13th, I said, can I ask, why are you ignoring me? Then July 23rd, I said, can you be a grown-up for 1 second and actually reply to me? This is getting old. You said you'd do a payment plan and you lied. So yeah, that's what happened. I ended up telling my mom everything that happened, because I was like keeping the secret. I was so scared. Like, I already had Jay yelling at me and I was like, oh. So I ended up keeping it a secret, and then I told her, like, you know, she never paid me. And my mom ended up calling her. She never answered. I ended up making like some text-free accounts or whatever, and messaging her. She never replied. I don't even think I'm blocked at this point, because like I said, those last messages, like it's delivered, but she just never answered. So yeah, that's what happened. I don't know why I didn't end up going to a lawyer. I said that thinking like maybe she'd answer. Clearly not. But yeah, so that's what happened over the span of a few months, all that stuff. So to this day, she still owes me that. I actually found her on this thing, like on the banking app, Zelle, and that's just through your bank accounts, and like I've asked her for payments on there and stuff, and if they don't like reply or like accept it within whatever amount of time, then it just gets denied pretty much. So I've done that about 4 or 5 times, and every single time I've done it, it's been denied. Like, she hasn't answered it, so it goes away. So I've done that. Like I said, I've tried texting her, and this was last year, so I'm over it, but I'm still so mad. Like, I don't know why I continued working there, but like I said, it was 9 days over the course of 3 weeks, I guess, or almost 3 weeks, and then the overnight that I had done before I knew all this other stuff was going to happen. And I was waiting on her to get her check, so that's why it was like 2 weeks. Because she said, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my check from this place, and $29. That's all I got from this whole thing, was $29. So that's what happened. I'm sorry if this video is long. I'll try to edit as much out as I can, but yeah, I don't know why I didn't go to a lawyer, but I didn't, and now I'm telling you guys, be careful. Get your payments up front. Don't leave that house without a payment. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.